Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Norm's Friends. Welcome back after another fantastic week. Today, naturally, I'll start with my quote, my famous quote. Then, naturally, I only have just two, believe it or not, only two anti-American slash un-American tidbits that I think are worthy of mentioning. And before I do that, though, we have a guest today. Esuah has returned, so I'll let him in. I didn't even introduce myself. I'll introduce myself after Esuah. So see that? I get carried away. See that? Because I want to make sure they know we have a guest today. So take it away, Esuah, and then we'll come back to me.
When we get carried away, we have to figure a way back, right?
That's right.
Hi, everybody. This is Esuah Arbadon. Great to be in your presence today, as always. Love being here. Enjoy the company. It's amazing what you can do when you raise your vibration, you know?
It is.
Before we get on the show, we raise our vibration a little bit. We talk about good things. We talk about clearing our minds, and that's what I'm going to ask you to do today, is relax and enjoy. Expect great things to happen for you. Enjoy life. Raise your love level today for those around you. Forgive and have a great time.
And it's that simple. It's that simple.
Let's just do it and have some relax and have some fun.
And how?
It's easy.
It is. So before we get into the meat of whatever it is we're going to get into, before I forget, David B., the readings guy, Biffid, Biffid at yahoo.com, 603-404-903, no, too many zeros, 933 All right, so there you go with that. So let's start with a quote of the day. I may have said it before, but even if I did, it's worth repeating. I think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible. Again, without deviation from the norm, which is today a hint to this administration, deviate a bit. Progress is not possible, and obviously we haven't had much progress with this current administration. Of course, one more time, without deviation from the norm, progress is not possible. Who but the one and only Frank Zappa?
You gotta love the mothers, right?
That's right. And how I remember the mother freak out the first time I heard freak out about him when we were kids. He comes out, you gotta hear this album, you gotta hear this album. Freak out. It was, and it hooked one listen, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was evolution of music for his time, for sure.
You're not kidding. So anyway, let me just mention my two anti-American antics going on. Yeah. And I have a third thing to mention, but I think it's pretty cool. If anybody has any comments, questions, ideas, give us a call, 603-640-3091. If you want a reading, I brought my wonderful psychic oracle cards today. I'll give you a reading with that. So in the meantime, here's just a few that this is absolutely ridiculous. This is pathetic. But our fearless leader, President Joe Biden, or I think some people call him Let's Go Brandon, he's going to visit Saudi Arabia seeking solutions for high gas prices. What is wrong with this guy? There's more oil. There's so much oil in Alaska, it's enough to supply the whole world. He's going to go to Saudi Arabia and beg people who, I just don't get it. Why doesn't he, reinstate the leases, all the leases that they canceled? Like they canceled all leases on federal lands. Open up federal lands to drilling, and they'll have low gas prices like we had before January 20th. All right, so that's that. And this is just the other one, which I always take, what's the word I'm looking for? I always take offense with people that do this. This is New Hampshire Metaphysical. I don't know if they're podcasts or, they're a series that they do, this talking series. But so I get the email, and this is what, it gets me. And it's with Dr. K. I recommend staying away from New Hampshire Physical. It's the last they seen of me. Here's the topic, which really irks me: toxic Christianity. And this is what bothers me about the people like this. They aspire, right? Psychics, mediums, healers, seers, right? You can try and dispute it all you want. Jesus was the best psychic, the best medium, the best healer, and the best seer, right?
Yes.
All these people aspire to be like him, and yet what do? Toxic Christianity. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. You aspire to be like somebody, but yet he's toxic at the same time. You can't have it both ways. But because the thing that gets me, they would never come out with a talk series about toxic Islam, right? They wouldn't. So, and that's what gets me. I'm offended. Toxic Christianity, excuse me. And Dr. K is probably who what authority does this person have, or education or degrees does he have in Christianity? And it said, and when does Christianity become toxic? Well, it never does. It never does. So anyway, so much for that. And then finally, look how quick I am through this list today. Just one more list. The feel-good story of the week, everyone. The feel-good story. And it certainly is to me. Oh, before I get to this, two feel-good stories. I have to change it to feel-good stories of the week. The first one is like I said, I hope it's a sign of things to come in November. The special election in Texas for, the 36th Congressional District special election.
Yeah.
They flipped it from Democrat to Republican. The first time it's been Republican, and I don't know, something over 30 years, 35 years.
Oh, Texas, oh yeah.
And it's all Hispanic, so, they think just because people are Hispanic, like blacks, they're going to vote for Democrats just because they got the D after their name. But they better wake up. And the other feel-good story of the week, I love this one. I just read this on Town Hall online. I love it. Another feel-good story of the week. Left-wing groups destroying themselves from within over wokeness. It's about time. So now that we got all the negativity out of there, right? Let's take it away. Esuah, where we head today with this?
Let's follow
for the next 50 minutes.
Let's follow the line of where we got started here.
All right. Yes.
I seen a T-shirt yesterday, and it relates to what you were talking about. And if something is not challenging you, you're not growing.
That's true.
You're talking about you need to get out of that comfort zone. Mm-hmm. You and I, and going back to the Christianity thing, aspiring to be like Jesus, toxic Christianity, limited education, or the unwillingness to hear others out or to study for yourself is the reason why people get into the situations they're in, why we're in the situation as a society, because we're just not taking the time to research for ourselves, and we're depending on what other people are saying. And that is so much related back to what you and I do.
Yeah, it is.
You and I took opportunities, despite in the age of where we grew up, which was a big transitional time from Catholicism and world religion, and the things we were doing by many were called devilish at the time. You know, you were the devil.
Well, really?
Even if you were getting into transcendental meditation, I mean, there were groups against that. You know,
exactly. Tarot cards,
all
that, mediumship, psychic, exactly.
So, my question to you today is, what is it that you don't know that is causing interruptions in your life between you and another individual, you and a community, you and a country, you and a culture, you and your spiritual growth, most of all? I think that's why he's here. I'm here for that reason, is he shows you that if you take the time, you study, you put into practice, you can do these things. Jesus just didn't wake up one day and had power. Jesus, according to the prophets, Edgar Casey, went from India. He went to Egypt. He went into the temples. He studied with the masters.
Mm-hmm.
He learned and he meditated and he did the things to grow spiritually, to become empowered to do the things he did. Yeah, whatever label you put on him. And that also goes with those who look at Christianity. You know, what is it that you don't understand about that? But when it's all said and done, where are we today? We're in the Aquarian age. You know, we're in the age of Aquarius, and the promise of the age of Aquarius is that you get to connect to your divine mind. That's the gift of this age. And in tarot, it's the star card, and he knows about that. And study the star card and think about getting out of your comfort zone. Maybe you can do it with a friend. Maybe you can call me or get with a group of individuals that can help walk you through scenarios that is preventing you from taking that next step in your life to grow spiritually. And that's where I would start the focus is challenging for growth. I think that's a good time.
Well, I agree. I mean, I'm right with you, but I always think too, to sort of, expand every aspect about you until you tune in to your spiritual self. You're just as, a shallow being of what you can really be.
What you can be. I mean, and how much humanity is missing out because of education, miseducation in many instances because of control factors. Let's face it, there's groups out there and people out there that don't want you knowing what Jesus knows.
Well, that's, got that right. You're not kidding.
And there's, they got their reasons. Well, you got your reasons too to grow out of your situation, to become a more loving human being, and to be walking in peace. It's a lot more adventurous when you're walking in peace because you can go more places.
Well, you can. Well, your vision's a lot clearer, right? The path is clearer.
The path is clear.
It's, there's no obstructions. It's
You're not being held back by fear.
Right. Exactly. It's
so you can even talk a lot about that, right? And, phobias. What kind of phobias are you dealing with that preventing you from getting out today? Preventing you from getting healed. Fear is a big cause of sickness. Look at the word disease. All right, dis-ease.
That's right. Yeah.
Cancer, pains, they begin with becoming uncomfortable, and a lot of that just comes with your own thinking.
It does. I mean, anxiety. It's all your thought process.
Yeah, you're getting in arguments. You're trying to control people. You're trying to control husband. You're trying to control your wife because you fear if they do this, if they get a job, they're going to find another you get in another relationship, so that's preventing that. And then, wow, that's the promise of the age of Aquarius, is the higher genius, where you can just be like, you know what, I can't control all the factors.
That's you can't.
There's a lot of things going on in the universe.
Right. Well, we have all these spirit guides to control them for us.
Right.
And it's
yes.
Why take that heavy burden on yourself?
Right.
Sort of, you have all this help available.
Yes.
And that's the sad part. People don't realize you have all this help. All they have to do is ask, and they're right there to help. But nope. It's the thing is, like I keep it's saying, Esuah is, because people are just so tuned into the physical. They have to see it. They have to be able to touch it. They have to look in the mirror and see it. And unfortunately, until they reach inside and, connect with their inner self, their spirit, their soul, you just, you remain that shallow shell.
And if you have to use Jesus as an example, and there's a lot of examples, okay, that training does manifest gifts.
It most certainly does.
And it takes training. It takes time. It's an education. It's a process. But seeing others do it, work with it, people watching you do what you do, well, that should show you that these capabilities are here. And they're pure. He does it in love. And that's what you need to know. If God is love, well, then that's what he's working through. Okay? And relax in that. That's where Jesus started from, was in love.
Right. That was his mission. Right. Exactly right.
So he's working out of the same way. I'm working out of the same way. Scott's working out of the same way.
It is, and the thing is, it's like a buddy of mine, right? He tells me all the time, everything always works out for you. Everything all.
Wow.
And I tell him, it's like, but it does seem to go my way. But on the other, here's the phone. Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, let me tell you.
Hey, how are you today, Mr. Whoopi?
Right.
What's on your mind today?
Let's see, not much, because I got a haircut the other day.
Yeah, and
cut some of them loose ends off, yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah.
Good timing.
Let's see, you got no crystal ball today, huh?
No, I didn't bring the crystal ball today. I know I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it regardless of, because I always say when I have a guest, I don't bring the crystal ball, but I'm gonna, because where's the crystal ball? No crystal.
Just put it in your pocket. That's all.
There you go. All right, I will. Next show for sure. Promise. I promise.
Okay, how about a little reading?
Sure, I got psychic oracle cards today, all right? So,
right.
These go ahead, what?
The psychic cards, right?
These are, yeah. I'll draw 3 cards and we'll see what's in store. These are sort of like,
Okay. Take the 3 from the bottom.
No, I'll take the last one from the bottom because I already picked 2. All right, you know what to do. All right, if that's what you want to do, let me shuffle. Hold on. Let me clear the cards. No, let me clear my energy. I'll shuffle them up. All right. So this is really going to be specific to you. So keep in mind now, if you don't like what the cards say, remember who picked them. All right, you tell me when to stop shuffling. So this is all your energy. Now?
No.
All right. Now, you want me to pick the bottom 3 cards?
Yes.
All right. Bottom 3 it is. If you don't like it, you could always change it, to a yes or no question. All right. And, well, here we go. These cards you're reading is going on about what we've been talking about if you've watched us since we've started the show. The first one is awareness, all right? And if you can see the person in the card, all right? Awareness. They're sort of, they have that stoic look about them. And on top of them, you could see it. It looks like a halo. So universal awareness, all right? And you just said you got a haircut, so you're even closer to the universal realm than you realize it. So right away, so awareness it is, all right? And again, awareness of yourself, awareness, like I said, of the universal realm, awareness of your inner spiritual self, your soul, total awareness, all-encompassing awareness, all right? But knowing that you're aware of all these different realms and levels and inside yourself, within and without, all right? Knowing that, of course, you also have to realize that with all this awareness comes temptation. So, and as you can see in the card, temptation, there's lots of red there. So what you have to do is, stop and proceed with caution, so you can sort of look ahead and realize, wait a minute, this really is, I'm tempted to do this, but go back to your awareness. Is it, should I, let this sort of creep in, and is this going to sort of be detrimental to, what I want or not? So you have to, that's what you have to decide. And then, of course, what do we end up with after you do all that? Again, just what we've been talking about, material and spiritual prosperity. And it all comes with just being aware of your surroundings. Not necessarily that you have to control everything, but just being aware, and you have material and spiritual prosperity. How can you go wrong with that? So you're going to have a very enlightening, happy, content, fulfilling week. There you have it.
Very good.
There you have it. So you can start that good mood right now.
There you
I'm
go.
always in a good mood.
Well, usually, depending on
Last week I asked you to look in the editorial page.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot.
Oh.
I forgot. So,
Well,
but you can enlighten us now quickly. What was it that I forgot to?
oh, it was that movie that's out, Maverick, with Tom Cruise.
Oh, that's killing him at the box office, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, but he showed a picture of our president dressed up in that uniform
Yeah.
with that F-111 fighter plane crashed into the desert.
Really?
He walks away and he says something like, "Whoops, ran out of gas."
I didn't see it. Did you see the movie, or did you just read the article?
No, not yet. No. I seen the original one.
Yeah.
I seen the original one too, but this one, it's breaking all kinds of box office records, and they said it's not woke. So there you go. So that's kind of a breath of fresh air, also. That also goes with the story. So there you have it. So, did you celebrate Flag Day yesterday?
Yes, I gave one of my neighbors hell.
Why?
he had his flag up overnight, and I seen him in the morning, yesterday morning, and I goes, look at, you got to have a light on that on the pole when you're flying the flag at night.
Or it comes down at sunset.
Right.
That's
and he says, I will get a new light and put it up.
Good.
I said, if I come by here tomorrow night and see no light, I'm going to take that flag down.
Good for you. Good. See, that's what we need,
because
patriots.
I put them up outside my house, but I don't have any lights attached to it,
Yeah. I used to, when I owned a house, I always had a flag up. And I didn't have a light. I would always take it in at sunset or before. So, we need more patriots. What?
When you go in the front door of your house, what side does the flag stay on?
The flags. Oh no! When I go in, I'll tell you what side I used to keep it on. I used to keep it on the right side.
When you're going into the house, it's on the left.
Oh no!
When you're coming out, it's on the right.
See that?
Actually, you were half right, because you're going in, it was on the right, and coming out, it was on the left.
Oh, well, but I would have put it on the right as you went in. Well, at least I took it.
Put a flag on each side of the door.
There you go, be safe, that's right. At least I took it down before, at or before sunset. So at least I did that right. There you have it. All right, listen. Let me get going and see.
Have a good week.
Thanks, and you, and call us again. Nice chatting.
Bye.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
All right. So, see, a patriot. That's what we need. People, instead of down and everything and being negative, we need,
No, get active doing something.
Really, a nice and a positive way.
If you can make a positive influence for the good of everybody, get out and start doing something. I can't encourage people any more than life is experiences.
To say the least, it most certainly is.
We're here to have experiences. And watching other people have experiences on TV, folks, it's not a great life. I mean, I know some of you can't get out, but those of you that can and those of you that can help others get out, by all means, if you can just get out on the porch and breathe some fresh air.
I agree.
And enjoy nature. Nature.
I love nature.
Mother Nature is a manifestation of the law. So if you want to understand the Father, the law, natural law, get with nature. Nature explains to you everything about the laws of God.
It does.
You don't have to look any further. If you want to understand God, just go out and find nature.
That's true.
Because it's a full expression of the law.
Really is. It does tell you a lot.
Yeah.
It tells you a lot about. But it's things like when things are so simple, that's people can, for some reason, have a difficult time grasping it.
Yeah. And camouflage has been placed over people's eyes for 2,000 years.
You're not kidding, it has.
It
really has.
But it's okay. The thing is that it's okay to realize it. It's okay to maybe be the first in your family to be like, you know what, I'm going to try something different.
Right, to question it, exactly right.
Yeah, I'm just going to try something different. Don't get mad at me.
Right, exactly. Or, like a good piece of advice, and a lot of people refuse it. And Judge Judy, I'm sure everybody in the world by now has watched Judge Judy, right? And should be trying to get a point across, and the people would be trying to talk over him. What would she used to say? Put on your listening ears. And I think that's an obstacle that people have. That sort of they have their set in these beliefs, or like you said, they've had masks over them for so long, they don't want to put on their listening ears.
It's frightening, when you've been indoctrinated, or your whole life is formulated around a certain set of values, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you and your husband, or the way you and your wife communicate or don't communicate, any interruption in that could be God knows, and nobody wants to know what God knows, right? So, maybe just dip your toes in the water a little bit.
Right.
Start moving out. Hey, if anything, go out and get some fresh air, get with nature, get with somebody you love. Experiences are what's gonna keep you awake. It's gonna make you lively. It's gonna make you want to get up. Emotions are gonna create the soul is gonna create emotions in your life that's gonna make you think you're doing something wrong or you're doing something right. Your mind, your spirit is going to be judgmental. It's going to go through past experiences. It's going to be like, well, when I did this happened. The spirit and the soul, yes, they contribute to your experience, and most of it, if it's not giving you a joyful life, then you need to separate yourself from that. If it's not giving you peace, you need to separate yourself from that. Put those emotions and them thoughts aside and get moving in that direction.
But separate yourself. When you say separate yourself, but your soul, phone.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. Hi, Dad.
Hi, guest. How are you?
Hi. The guest is
Energy lady.
That's right, the queen, the optimistic queen. How are you today?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
I'm very well. No crystal ball today, as you can see.
None?
No.
How come?
Well, because I have a guest, although the last caller also wanted a crystal ball reading. So regardless, the next show we have, guest or no guest, you'll see the crystal ball here.
Well, that'll be wonderful.
Yeah, and I won't bring any cards. I'm just going to bring a crystal ball. Well, I'm going to switch it up.
That'll be nice.
Yeah.
Can I have a reading?
You sure can. I'll give you a 3-card reading with my psychic oracle cards. Did you see the last reading? It was very interesting.
Right on.
It was very interesting. Let's see what we have for the queen of the optimists. Let's see. I'll pick 3 cards. Whoa. I like the first one, but for you it's never ending. And all right. Wow. All right. So the first one sort of, as you can see, love begins. So it could be, not, I'm going to, in this case, it's not a physical love, all right? This is sort of, this is an emotional love with, perhaps an old acquaintance maybe, or somebody. Well, remember not too long ago, I remember saying a reading about you had a sticking point with someone or a little falling out. So perhaps maybe now that's all repaired and it's back on the mend. If it isn't, it will be happening soon, because I'll tell you why. The next card, partnership and alliances. And as you could see, both people are reaching out again to, mend the rift and smooth out the pitfalls and the deviations that you had with this relationship prior. So again, everything's gonna come around and resolve. It's gonna all be resolved, no question about it. And you're gonna feel so good about it. Look at it. You're gonna be very, very, very content when this straightens itself out. So, and it will very, very shortly. So there you go. So who'd you have the little rift with?
Nobody?
Well, you must have. The cards don't.
No.
The cards don't lie. But the
No.
cards
I'm
don't.
contented.
Yeah, but there must be someone that, I don't know, they must have said something to upset you a little or something. Something's just not right with some relationship. An emotional one, not physical. I'm not talking physical.
Not with me.
Oh, I think if you really look. I think if you really, really look. Maybe not with you, but maybe, one of an acquaintance of yours thinks that you sort of maybe went beyond your boundaries and maybe mentioned something to them or said something to them that they didn't think was appropriate. You'll see.
Are you talking about a friend?
Yes. Yes, I am.
A male or a female?
This as a female. That's what I was feeling when I was doing the reading. So, and you already know who it is. You just, you know who it is.
I'm trying to think. I get a lot of friends,
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do, without a doubt. With that attitude, I mean, how can you not? Unless you're tied to so many friends that you are, sort of being a little abrasive because you need a rest, because you got all these people zapping you, not on purpose, in a good way. They all want that positive energy that continuously and constantly flows from you. So, and let's face it, as much as we want to give...
Well, I do take a break on certain things.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Regardless, of how great it makes us feel, there's still a time where we have to retreat a little bit and, keep a little reserve for ourselves and let the reserve recharge us so we can continually give it again until the next time where we have to recharge. So when you pull back, there's the answer right there. Somebody is a little bit not happy with it.
Yeah.
So,
well, thanks for the reading anyhow. I'll let you get back to your guests because I don't want to take up all your time.
All right. Thanks for calling and enjoy it. You'll figure it out. Next week you'll tell me it's all resolved, I'm sure. All right. Enjoy.
I hope so.
You will. Enjoy your week. Thanks.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And such as life is frictions.
Well, yeah.
When I think about friction is an excellent thing in a lot of ways.
Well,
I mean, in marriage, you create a lot of friction in a lot of different ways. Friction is that spark to that.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
Good, and how are you guys doing?
Very good. Mary, how have you been?
Dead.
Yeah. Hey, I remember last time I gave you a little bit psychic reading. How'd that come out for you?
That came out good. Yeah, I was wondering what you had if you could do one for me today.
I can do it right now. These are the psychic oracle cards, Mary. So
Right.
It's even good because to me, these are very personal. It's basically, it's like tarot. They can be in different areas, but these are all you from within. So I'm going to pick 3 cards, and let's see. Well, Mary. Let's see.
Yeah.
All right, Mary. This is kind of ho-hum. The first one is suffering in its silence. So something is on your mind that's bothering you. I don't know why you don't want to discuss it with your close associates, your loved ones, your family, your friends. Something, I don't know, I'm not getting a hit on what it is exactly, but I can, the cards, I can feel the cards, Mary. There's something, and I'm going to, suffering in this sense, because I'm, psychically, I'm connecting. So when it's suffering in silence, I'm just getting a sense that what it is it's you don't know if you should pick A or B, and that's it's to me again. It's not major, but it's you're letting it sort of wear on you, and
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, way heavier on you, and so. But the thing is, instead of being indecisive about the situation, right? Hit the next card here is stand your ground. Stand your ground. So, in other words, take in a nice deep breath and say, nothing's going on now. I'm in the same boat that I've been in because I don't know if I want to choose A or if I want to choose B or if I want to do A or do B. So, stand your ground. You're going to have to sort of stamp your foot and just say, come tomorrow by hook or by crook, I'm making that decision. I'm going to have that decision by tomorrow.
Yeah, and I know what you're talking about right there.
All right, and what you got to do is, I know it, the last card here is emotional loss. To me, what this card means right now is because you have to, the decision that you have to make, Mary, you have to make it for yourself. And what you have to do is, instead of, well, what is so-and-so going to think if I do this? If I think of this, JoJo's not gonna like this. But but if I don't do it, if I don't do it, then Betty's gonna be upset with me if I don't do it. So it's sort of like you're stuck in the middle. So either way, that's the emotional loss. To me, it's sort of their loss, which it's got to come to that, Mary, because otherwise you're the unhappy soul in the middle of all of it. So that's all it is. So it's no big deal. You gotta finally just tell yourself, that's it. I'm stuck of sort of spinning my wheels, and if somebody doesn't like it, well, unfortunate for them, because it's your decision and you're the one that has to live with it, no one else. So don't let anyone else, stop you from making the decision. So there you have it. But it's going to be Mary.
I know what you're talking about.
Yep, you'll feel right after you do it, Mary. And as soon as you make that decision, that quick, you're going to go, why didn't I do this sooner? You're going to feel so relieved, Mary. So go for it.
All righty, I will do it.
All right, very good. Tomorrow, everyone, same time slot. Cruising with Mary. Mary, you got a guest tomorrow?
I was supposed to, but I don't know if they're going to show up or not, so we'll see. If they do, if they don't, it depends on that person,
Right, yeah, well...
If he shows up or not.
Yeah, well, you got your co-host, correct? Your co-host?
Yeah.
And,
I got my co-host,
And what about the artist? Does he show up? Does he usually show up?
Yeah, he'll be coming in.
Oh.
Anthony will be coming in.
Good.
And, of course, I have my port guy. He does his, poetry. And that's Jim. He'll be coming in. And Mary, my co-host.
Wow. All right. So that's a nice show. Yeah. Tomorrow, everyone, cruise in. You'll enjoy it. Cruising with Mary. Thursday, 5 to 6, Channel 23, ManchesterTV.org.
And if you'd like to pop in, please do.
Oh, thanks. But, Mary, tomorrow, I'm going with a neighbor of mine. We're going to Laconia to check out Bite Week.
Nice. There you go.
But we're going in a car.
Well, you're getting there.
The only way to go.
That's right. All right. Very good.
You'll be there.
Very good. How are the kiddies, Mary?
They're doing good. My girls are doing good. In fact, my two sisters, my Taurus, they just turned 14.
Wow, congrats.
They're 14 years old now.
Congratulations.
And my other one, my princess, my white one, she's going to be 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Well taken care of.
And how? Wow, they are.
My teenagers.
Yeah.
There you go. I know. Well, what do they say for every year? It's 6 years for a cat, right? So they're up there.
7 years to a dog.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Well, give them all a pet for me and give them a goodie for me.
will.
All right. Mary, let me get going because time's slipping by quick here. So.
All righty. Take care.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Thanks for calling, Mary.
Bye-bye.
Bye. She's on tomorrow. She's great. She's a sweetheart. So I forget where we were before we got the phone calls.
We were talking about putting off the soul, the emotions, looking forward. We were talking about friction in life, and that's not always necessarily a bad thing.
Oh, right. But when I was going to say, that's what I was going to say before, here's the phone again. I guess I'm not. Good afternoon. Welcome to Norm's Friends. How are you today?
Good, and you?
Very good. What's on your mind today?
Can I get a reading quick before you go off the show?
Yeah, I got time. Can give you, the 5 minutes or whatever, or maybe even a little longer. I'll give you the reading. Let me shuffle the cards. I just cleared the cards from the last reading, all that energy. Let's see. I'm going to shuffle the cards. Again, I'll pick 3 cards for you. They're psychic oracle cards, so they're very in tune to just you. Aha. All right. Well.
So what did you do in the beginning? That little white thing, you went around the cards and everything. What's that do?
This is selenite. It takes all the energy out from the prior reading, but I guess it didn't unless your energy is similar. The cards came up different and you got 2 of the same cards, but I like them.
Oh.
So
Okay.
All right, first we start with partnerships and alliance, which I really, really like. So this is either partnerships and alliances. I'm going to say again, this is a personal bond that you have. Emotional. I'm not feeling physical. This is a personal, a relationship that you have that is sort of even growing, and it's becoming. You're realizing that there's more in common between the two of you than you previously thought. So that in turn is, growing in a nice, warm, and comfortable way. In the sense that everyone's feeling, you're feeling more relaxed with this relationship, which always is nice, because the more relaxed you feel, the more it grows. At the same time, with all this warmth around this relationship and the closer feeling and the sort of mentally bonding that you're doing. At the same time, remember, don't lose yourself in it, because it's a great place to be, but you gotta, as small as it is, you gotta keep your energy and your aura real close to yourself. You always have to do that. You don't want to lose yourself totally. So
you don't want to go too deep into yourself.
Right. Well, you do, but you don't want the other, you don't want to give it all to the other person, because we know it can happen in that sense. All right? And, well, I'll tell you what.
That card that you're holding in your hand, that must be standing strong.
It isn't standing strong. It's because if you don't stand your ground, or if you, like I said, if you don't stand your ground and sort of, keep a small, close perimeter around yourself, what's going to happen if you just, let the warm, fuzzy feeling take over. Then what happens? Then you're going to end up being trapped in fear because, if you let yourself get that vulnerable, which is good in a way, but you have to, you're the one by standing your ground. You have to keep this evolving, not only with the other person's, direction. It also has to be yours. So you have to sort of keep your ground in this, or else that's what's going to happen. Because if you let it get the best of you, then that's what happens. Then all of a sudden, you like the relationship, and you realize that you sort of didn't keep some control and stand your ground, and put up a few boundaries. Then that's what's going to happen, because then you wonder, well, if I do that now, it might sour it. So just so hey, go with it and enjoy it, but just remember to sort of keep your wits about you at the same time. And and another one, you're going to feel nice and content and warm and comforted, so enjoy it.
This relationship, is this a new thing or a prior thing or something that's been going on and on?
Nope, this one I'm getting the sense that I'm not going to say going on and on and on. This one I'm going to say is it's prior, but now it's sort of expanding. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
All righty?
I gotcha.
All right.
Yep.
Okay. Anyway, so that's it. Let me get going, because now we're starting, we don't have a whole lot of time left. But, hey, thanks for calling, and thanks for letting me help you out.
Hey, you have a good evening, you guys.
Okay, thanks.
You.
And you enjoy yours
You too.
also. Thanks again for calling. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
So,
Yeah.
I was going to comment on that when you said, your soul or your spirit never leads you wrong. Never takes you in the wrong direction, right? Never gives you grief. When you talked about, if you feel like you start running into trouble, you separate yourself. Again, your spirit never takes you in the wrong direction, never leads you astray. When you start feeling as though it may be taking you in the wrong direction, what that is it's your ego putting up a fight, because your ego wants to be in control, and so
let me add to that.
Sure.
Is when you're focused on your purpose. When you realize your divine purpose is to grow spiritually, and that all these obstacles are going to get in your way, and people are going to try and confuse you. They're going to say things to hurt your feelings, and you're going to allow that to stop you. That's what I'm saying. Put that aside. Stay focused on your purpose, on your goal of growing, and then continue.
Oh, all right. I was a little confused because, everything's going so perfect. It's wonderful. There's not a flaw in sight. And, then all of a sudden what happens? And your ego realizes it's losing control. So then your ego steps in.
Yep.
You're about to hit a big pothole now where there's a wall just around the corner. So you better start listening to me now.
Obstacles are many, and everybody's got their egos too. You got your ego. Be aware. But you always be grounded in your purpose.
Exactly. Yes, indeed. Yes.
And hopefully your life experiences begin to grow where they're peaceful and joyful all the time. That's my hope for you, and for me and Dave and Scott and everybody.
And it like I keep, it's so simple, and that's what makes it difficult for people. It's that simple. You just tune into your inner self. Exactly.
Let it go.
Let it go is right. Like I always say, let go of control.
5 minutes ago is over.
That's right. Exactly right. Exactly right.
You ain't gonna be there 5 minutes from now. You never will be. So stop trying to get there.
That's exactly. and stop worrying about it, and letting other people, tell you, you shoulda, woulda, coulda, is a bunch of crap. I always tell everybody to make it simple. Listen to your gut. Listen to your gut.
Intuition is a mighty thing.
It sure is. And it's funny because what do you hear people say, right? Right? They make a bad decision, and what do they say after? I should have listened to my gut. Right? How many times do you hear
All
that?
the time.
I should have listened to my gut. And they should have really, but that's what happens.
Yes. And don't beat yourself up over bad decisions.
Right.
Learn from them.
Right.
Forgive yourself. That's the only thing you can do. Other people made bad decisions, been in bad situations. You got in a fight.
Yep.
This, that, and the other. Let it go.
1 minute. We got 1 minute. It said so. Quick.
I'm Esuah Arbadon. Meet me at Facebook, Esuah Arbadon, and Wisdomcast Astrology and Tarot.
All right, and I'm David B., also known as The Readings Guy, thereadingsguy.com, 603-404-9338, Biffid, B-I-F-F-I-D, at yahoo.com. Give me a call. Get in touch. Let's do a reading. Let me get your soul excited. Let your spirit soar.
Yes.
And in the meantime, till we meet again, remember, you are a winner.
Yes, you are.